Hi everyone, this is Mr Neel Raithatha, also known as the Wax Whisperer. Thank you for joining me in my latest video. This is of a patient who's actually a YouTube fan, so hello if you're watching. And they attended the clinic, they travelled from London. So London is around a couple of hours each way journey from my clinic in Leicester, which is in the Midlands in the UK in England. And we're starting off by treating their worst left ear. And they've got this very sticky, glutinous, soft, mushy type of wax. And they also have a very narrow ear canal, more so on their right side, but also this in their left ear. And I've immediately put some olive oil spray in there. The patient was slightly anxious, so I was just reassuring her whilst we're doing the procedure. I was just explaining that we're just near the entrance and we're just trying to wriggle this out. So if they do feel anything, it's not that we're touching the eardrum or the ear canal. It's just the wax moving and jiggling around in the ear, moving forwards. Now, I've had nasal packaging up my nose before, and when they come to remove it, it's one of the most horrendous things I've ever experienced. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I felt as though it was forever. So in the UK, we've got a theme park called Alton Towers, and there's this ride called Oblivion, where it's literally a vertical drop. And I'm not one for doing rides. I only recently went on a roller coaster, and so anyway, I got forced to go on the Oblivion, and when you watch it, when you're queuing up, and the wait's forever, the vertical drop looks as though it's only for a couple of seconds. And it is only a couple of seconds, and if you're timing it. But when you're on that ride yourself and you're coming down that ride, it seems like a lifetime and it's never ending. And similarly, when I had these nasal blocks removed from my nose by the nurse once, it seemed like it was forever and it was horrible. It was like my brain was being pulled out my nose. So based on that, I can kind of sometimes relate with the ear. I don't have earwax. I've never had earwax removed, only bits and bobs. But I'm assuming for some people it can feel similar. It's almost like something's coming out that the brain's coming out their ear, although it's not, of course. But the patient did really, really well. Just mopping up just near the entrance, just a bit of wet wax here, just on the anterior canal and at the base. You can see it's really sticky and glutinous. It's the horrible consistency. And that's where the oil really, really helps. And again, we're just mopping up. Now, you can see that suction probe is taking up the vast majority of the space near the entrance of the ear canal. So it gives you some perspective of how narrow the ear canal is. Once you're in the ear, it does widen and it's kind of more of a normal sized ear canal. So, again, just mopping up near the roof of the ear canal there. And that's the patient's eardrum, nice and healthy. And this is the right ear, and their entrance is really slit. Once you're in, it's a lot wider. And in both ears, this wax is quite dark. It's been there for a while, it's oxidized. So immediately I've just put some oil in there, and I'm just suctioning the excess. And so what I've had to do now is I'm using the endoscope to stretch the ear open. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to get that instrument in. And simultaneously, whilst opening the ear with the endoscope, I'm also visualizing on the wax, and then I'm using my other hand, the dominant hand, my right hand, to insert the Zollner suction probe into the ear. So I'm just pulling this wax out. It just got trapped at this entrance. So this entrance is just, after I move the endoscope, it collapses the entrance and it stops the wax in its tracks, but I managed to get it out. So I'm just going back in again. So just been really busy the last few days. I had a really good meeting today. I went to see a colleague, who's an ENT consultant surgeon based in Birmingham, and I met his team, and we sat down and spoke for a couple of hours today, all things ears, and I gave him the demonstration of the new wax scope, and he was tremendously impressed by it, and definitely a gap in the market. We think he thinks that managed to develop. And so, it's exciting times ahead. So we're still pushing on with the wax scope. I've had loads of interest from loads of audiologists, both in the UK and also abroad. So we're just busy manufacturing now, and hopefully it's going to be launched at the end of the summer, early autumn time. But we don't want to rush these things. I've waited so long that I want to make sure everything's as it should be, and so there's a lot of quality control there. So just trying to wriggle this out, and you can see the entrance is really narrow here. You can just tell how narrow it is, and because the wax is so lateral near the entrance, I'm not able to use the endoscope anymore to stretch the ear open, because otherwise the tip of the endoscope will be pushing the wax back in. So we're just having to wriggle this here. Sometimes we can, some audiologists, we have trained them to just ask the patient to pull their ear back slightly. And this is where the wax scope can help. It'll just stretch the ear open for you. So you can see the top part of the eardrum there, and at the bottom, they've got this plug, and it came out nice and easily, that, with the oil. So it's quite wet in there. At the bottom of the ear canal, near the eardrum, it's a bit sore, it's a bit tender. Now, I don't know if the patient has been using cotton buds. They didn't say that they did, but it's probably just the skin's just been, it's almost like it's teared away there, and the bone underneath is exposed slightly. So it's a bit of osteotitis, but didn't report any symptoms. It advise the patient to keep their ears clear from water, and that should just heal up now. So very happy patient. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, guys, and you're taking care of yourselves and keeping well. And remember, be nice and be kind to each other. Thank you. Bye.